International Women's Day, IWD, which is celebrated on March 8, is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. This year's theme is Women in the Changing World of Work, Planet 50/50 by 2030, Be Bold for Change. Thank you for joining us on this program. I am Gabriella Patram. IWD has been observed since early 1900s, a time of great expansion and turbulence in the industrialized world which saw booming population growth and the rise of radical ideologies. IWD is a collective day of global celebration and a call for gender parity. No one government, NGO, charity, corporation, academic institution, women's network, or media hub is solely responsible for IWD. Many organizations declare an annual IWD theme that supports their specific agenda or cause, and some of these are adopted more widely with relevance than others. Thus, IWD is all about unity, celebration, reflection, advocacy, and action, whatever that looks like globally at a local level. But one thing is for sure, IWD has been occurring for well over a century and continues to grow from strength to strength. In Guyana, there were a number of activities to commemorate and celebrate women across the country. First Lady Mistress Sandra Granger started the activities by delivering the feature address on gender parity at the Women and Gender Equality Commission International Women's Day. The First Lady says that Guyana needs to recognize the economic and social factors that limit access to education and women and girls' development.
If we consider gender parity to be, quote, the equal contribution of women and men to every dimension of life, whether public or private, the subject becomes much more complex because now we are taking into account women's and girls' health and well-being, their social and economic condition, their role in the political process at the national, regional, and neighborhood levels, and the implementation of legislation which impacts their daily lives. In essence, the framework must be put in place to facilitate the access of women and girls to a full and complete life.
Mistress Granger says that if Guyana is to achieve gender parity, there are several actions that are required.
First, our entire population must be educated to understand the long-term implications of gender disparity. All stakeholders, male and female, must be involved, and policies must be developed and implemented to ensure buy-in at all levels of our society. We must be bold for change. We must speak up and speak out against injustice. Second, a comprehensive countrywide campaign should be launched to socialize our women and men, boys and girls, so that they recognize and desist from behaviors which harm us individually and collectively, socially and economically. This campaign must be geared toward all sectors of our population and be conducted in language and media which are accessible to all. Third, we must say a resounding no to every kind of violence against the person. Fourth, we must demand justice when any woman or girl child is trafficked for sex work or labor, insisting that the perpetrators be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Our women and girl children must know that they are not commodities to be bartered and sold for financial gain, and that each one is unique and beautiful in her own way. Fifth, we must ensure that women and girls have equal access to health care and education from the time of birth so that they can survive and thrive, equipped to achieve their full potential and lead confident, productive lives. Is gender parity possible by 2030? You heard the experts before me. I don't know. But I believe that with behavioral change, determination, and serious concerted action, we can become a healthier, more educated, more confident and productive society. We can then achieve gender parity in the not too distant future. With these thoughts, I want to wish you all a happy International Day 2017. Thank you.
In her address to the nation on International Women's Day, Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali says that women have progressed throughout the world extensively, especially in Guyana. Minister Ali says her ministry will continue to work with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that women's rights are protected and that they have permission to participate in decision making.
The government of Guyana remains committed to promoting gender equality and the empowerment of women in all spheres of life. We will continue to work towards achieving the vision of a country in which women and girls live in safety and are protected from all forms of abuse, such as trafficking in persons and domestic violence. We will continue to make great strides towards the achievement of the internationally agreed development goals relating to gender equality and women's empowerment, particularly in mainstreaming a gender perspective into policies and programs, ensuring equal pay for equal work, enhancing education and training opportunities for women and girls, and ensure the constant raise of women's leadership positions.
The Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI, observed the day by honoring women in their company. These included Minister within the Ministry of Communities Dawn Hastings Williams, Human Resource Managers, Engineer, the janitorial staff, and supervisors, among others. Managing Director for GWI, Dr. Richard Van West Charles, points out that each one is linked to a woman, and on a daily basis, that fact must not be forgotten.
And what we have tried to do is to ensure that all of our women across the organization will be remembered. We've brought some of you from the different regions, and we've asked the managers in the respective regions to have a function to remember and to place on record how important women are in our daily lives and with respect to the delivery of service to our customers.
The Women of Aviation Worldwide Week, WOAW, is an annual global observance that takes place during the week of March 7th to 13th. The outreach part of the initiative is designed to spark aviation vocations within the female population and improve gender balance in the air and space industry. It is managed by the Institute for Women of Aviation Worldwide.
This is one of the international activities. It's called the Pink Paper Plane Challenge, whereby every year the International Women in Aviation Association, they promote this event at the particular time of the day. They want to see how many people, men and women, will get together to make as many pink paper planes as possible with the hope of entering into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Paula McAdam, Cabin Safety Inspector with the GCAA, says that oftentimes women are not given equal recognition. However, the GCAA is creating awareness to give females more opportunities in the industry. Director of the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association, GRPA, Patricia Shernod Bisnot, has been addressing the issues of social justice, inequality, and in particular, gender injustice and inequality.
I believe that Guyana has come a long way with women, at the forefront, but we're still a long way to go to achieve, what is good for, a just and equal society. And Guyana still struggles with major, issues, major barriers to women's development. Nevertheless, let me say that it's a day to celebrate, March 8th, and to look at the achievements that women have made, and women have been making, great achievements, throughout every sector and at every level. Often we don't see and we don't recognize the strides made by women, especially women who are struggling, daily for life and to be able to have some control over, their lives and to be able to provide for their children. But throughout our history, women have really been very innovative and have crossed many boundaries to be able to survive and to provide for their families.
Programs Director for the GRPA, Shanala Providence, explains what it is to be bold for change.
When I think about how I have been bold for change, in keeping with the theme for International Women's Day in 2017, I think about my presence in this particular field, working in a field that promotes and encourages the equality and the rights of women. It is certainly not easy, particularly when you live in an extremely conservative society or you're dealing with extremely conservative stakeholders. It sometimes seems a bit rhetorical having to explain to people why women's rights are important and why they need to be championed. So when I think about where I have been bold, I think just being here and being a part of this fight and being a part of this movement, advocating for the rights and the equality of women is a bold move, not only on my behalf, but all the women who are also on this front. It has so many advantages, but like I said, it certainly isn't easy. We are still trying to break glass ceilings in 2017. We are still educating people. We are still shifting the narrative about women and the contributions that they are able to make and the contributions that they can make to society and to the world. However, what I can say, one of the privileges of being a part of this movement is that those who have come before us and those who are here have been making significant advancement in women's rights.
Additionally, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Barton Scotland, along with male parliamentarians, honored female parliamentarians, staffers, and journalists in observance of today.
Guyana joined with the rest of the world to observe International Women's Day. In keeping with this observance, allow me, honourable members, to make reference to the fact that over the years, Guyana has seen the emergence of outstanding women in the form of our female legislators. Women have over the years been agitating for an increased presence in public affairs, and some success has attended their efforts. In Guyana, that success is evidenced by the increased levels of female representation within the National Assembly over the years. In 1953, 3 women then active in the political life of our country, Janet Jagan, Jessie Burnham, and Jane Phillips Gay, broke barriers when they became the first female elected members of Parliament in Guyana. That achievement opened the door for some 94 others to date to be part of the political effort in this country. In this, the 11th Parliament, there are 22 female members of the National Assembly, a more than significant achievement. As we pay tribute to women in this month of March, let us, as members of this august body, commit to do all within our power as parliamentarians to improve the circumstance of all Guyanese women. That the day does not go unremarked. Each female member of our assembly will be presented with a rose statement of our esteem.
At a time when women's voices are rising around the world, International Women's Day celebrated women's achievements, opportunities, and potential. Technological advances, mobility of labor, the green economy, and globalization can bring unprecedented possibilities for women if they have access to relevant education and training. Statistics show that about 50% of working-age women compared to 76% of men are represented in the labor force globally today, and women take on 2.5 times more unpaid work than men. The global gender pay gap is 23%. Locally, the government has been pushing the empowerment of women to ensure they have the skill sets to sustain their livelihood, be independent, and represent women and gender issues in Parliament. The late Eleanor Roosevelt said, "A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water." Thank you for joining us on this program. You can catch these and other programs on GINA website, and GINA also has an active Facebook page. I am Gabriella Patram. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. Goodbye.